Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today, back up being joined once again by Jimmy, and like always, Fluff.
Yeah.
What up, beautiful people?
And today is a interesting matchup. This is once again Fluff and Jimmy in the finals this past weekend. Jimmy's brought back the Soul Striker, quote-unquote Goku, because it has all the gods in it, blue, yellow, and Fluff has brought back Syn Shenron, one of his favorites. So, like always, this button's on below. Feel free to click on the dev for a reason. But let's get into today's matchup.
So we've seen Soul Striker a million times. So tell us a little bit about this yellow Syn list.
I feel like we've seen Syn a million times.
Yeah, but like not recently.
I would say this is a control. I would say this is more of a control variant of Syn Shenron. It's not so much the aggro variant. Like, it's not using the haze and naturons to give crit and double strike and dual attack to the Omega so much more than I'm actually trying to just control the field and control the tempo of the game.
Mm-hmm. I've always pictured Syn Shenron as against pretty much every deck. It's just automatically a uphill battle. The amount of value that Syn puts on the table and the amount of value that it takes away from your opponent is just, it's a balance that's not seen in any other list.
Really, I'll say anytime that I've lost with Syn in testing, and of all the times that I played it, anytime that I've lost is because I made a mistake.
Yep.
If I didn't sequence correctly, or I didn't see a particular line of play, or I walked into a particular skill that I forgot about, or something like that, that usually is what beats over your opponent being able to play around what the deck naturally does.
Mm-hmm. And maybe it's just me as a player looking at Syn, because the only Syn that I've ever played against that I felt was actually good is Fluff's Syn list. And that's no disrespect to the other Syn players that I played with on Untap before. It's just like, I've never seen anybody play Syn like Fluff. I forgot what happened there. I think we were just goofing. But,
yeah.
But I can't think of a single deck other than maybe just like Skilless Coup that has a good matchup against Syn Shenron.
Yeah.
Like, maybe somebody in the comments can give me some tips on how to play against this damn deck, because most of the time I'm just walking into it and dying.
If I'm correct, you don't let the foreplay play. I think that's like the key element to this deck.
Yeah.
Down Soul Striker so much.
Yeah, I mean, particularly Soul Striker, but I feel like any list that I play against Syn Shenron, I'm always on an uphill battle.
The big thing is that, like, the bodies that it puts on field are like 30Ks, or at the minimum 15Ks that have disruptive effects, or don't care so much if you get rid of them. Like, the Zamos the Eliminator play was pretty good, because it kind of eliminated the value from the Nova, but by the time the Nova is turned sideways, it's kind of generated its value already. Mm-hmm. It revived a card from the drop area, it burst 2, and then you just put a 5k combo back in my hand, and that's the way that I see it. Like, I wasn't heartbroken that I lost that nature on Shenron. Of course, I would have liked to have played it, but it could be worse.
Of course.
What is the Shenron you just plays effect to get rid of the Zamasu? Sorry, Zamasu was blanked because of the other Shenron.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. I know now that you've got your Unison online, I've got a slightly more uphill battle because of God Sealing Technique Trunks. Mm-hmm. But I also know your list and know that in your list you don't run as many, so the likelihood of having the God Sealing Trunks is slightly diminished compared to other lists. So in my head, I have to value how much do I respect that Grand Priest on the field.
Before we go any further, I just wanted to Jimmy, can you clarify why you were able to swing with your leader, even though he played the 4-drop? Just in case someone's confused by that statement.
Because it was a different turn.
Yeah.
I played the 4-drop going into Jimmy's turn 2, and that was his turn 3.
Oh, okay. I thought it was because you awakened, which made it a different instance.
No.
Okay.
Because it targets the leader card
Gotcha.
in the leader area. So
I thought,
no matter what instance of the card it is.
I forgot Fluff went first in this matchup.
Mm-hmm. So
at this stage of the game, it's all about trying to work through Jimmy's negates and his responses. Jimmy wisely got rid of the Syn Shenron, but the deck operates, and I've always viewed that Syn Shenron as a value either way. Either it stays on the field, and I get value out of it being on the field, or my opponent gets rid of it, I get to draw 2 and start the chain back over.
Mm-hmm.
So I am okay usually, like, you shouldn't rely on the Syn Shenron. Like, if you lose your Syn Shenron, oh god, I'm going to lose the game. Play through it. You did make me burn extra energy in putting another Syn Shenron out, which I think was a really good call on your behalf, because this turn could have been a lot more oppressive had it not been.
Yeah, I knew if I could keep your energy down, that would stop you from spamming the field with more big bodies, or it would stop you from being able to use any sort of counter on my next turn. Or it would force you to expend life to activate any counter, which I don't exactly know what your negate list looks like. But I thought that... go on.
I run a very weird negate lineup in Syn Shenron, just because of the way the deck operates. You don't need to see consistency in your extra cards. They just need to be power cards that solve problems. So I run like a 2-2-2-3 split on my extra cards. I don't run 4-ofs in any of the extra cards. I'm not entirely afraid of you killing me this turn, so I'm okay being tapped out. I am a little bit nervous about what you could potentially do, and I think that I just got lucky, because you're not going to be able to swing with your Soul Striker this turn. I think I just got lucky in that you just paid 2, got your draws, and passed.
Yeah, my hand was not looking fantastic at this point in the game, so I didn't want to tap myself out, because I still wanted to be able to combo up, due to pretty much every card in my deck having a 1-cost 10k combo, which usually is not that big of a deal because I have so much energy manipulation and I get the free combo off of the Unison. But it's also kind of a double-edged sword, because I don't want to have to spend like a 10k combo on a 15k leader swing, you know?
Yeah.
So I thought if I could draw into something, maybe like some sort of floodgate negate at all, that ape was going to be used well.
Yeah. I decided to utilize the Unison here, and I really throw down my Kikabura to awaken. But I decided to go on ahead and do it this time because I didn't have any other great lines of play in my hand at this point, and I didn't suspect that any of my attacks were going to meaningfully get through. Like, I knew there were going to be negates, there were going to be problems. You've got 2 life. I feel like you're confident in your ability to survive whatever attacks that I dish out right now. So just kind of glancing at my deck, I like Shadow Dragons to be in my drop area for obvious reasons. Oceanus Shinron is just an enabler for that. And as long as I'm careful to not get myself in a deck out situation, then I'm fine. So being able to go here, and like, obviously, you're now standing back up at 3 energy, so You're at 1 life. What's the likelihood that I'm able to kill you here? And you had a very fat hand size. I had a very fat hand size. And it was like, okay, do I think I can kill you on a Mechikabura swing?
Yeah, I knew at 2 life it would have been enticing to take the Oceanus challenge, and then especially going down to 1 life off of sparking the D-Match. I felt made it very, very enticing to try to pressure and maybe make a mistake and put yourself in a deck out position.
Yeah.
Which you know this list very well. You know I have outs to pretty much everything, so I think you did play it well and you didn't overextend. But I feel like a lesser player may have tried to keep swinging through that and put everything into taking that 1 last life, even though I knew I wasn't taking it.
Yep.
But I kept getting excited every single time I seen another card come down.
I was honestly expecting you to bottom deck the card or send it back to hand with your leader ability. Or your Unison's ability. Especially when I threw down the triple strike. And that should have been an indicator to me that you had more defense than meets the eye. But you did end up doing the -3 and getting rid of it.
Yeah, looking at my hand, I think I asked you to remember the combo power you had in hand at this point, because I would have rather you actually swing with that and get the mill, and then I would have been fine with dumping my hand out to get out of that attack.
Yeah.
Because I felt like that would have put you in a straight position of like lose the game mode just because of cards in your deck.
Yeah.
But I was scared that you just had like an entire hand of like ridiculous super high combos and final flashes and all that.
Yeah, which is exactly what the hand is.
Yeah. So I was not willing to take that risk. So I would just -3, put it back, and then felt bad having to baby hatch, but again, it become a situation of I was just scared you were just going to combo too high for me, and I can't interact with a Unison.
Yep, very much so.
Yeah, that's the most deadly thing in this with this Soul Striker list, is that I have little to no interaction with Unisons. That if my opponent swings and combos big on that, my only out is to combo back or just not even get into the battle step with a Unison.
Yeah. And thankfully, Mechikabura on the front side of it, like, is not hyperly threatening. It's just a 15,000 body. It's more about how flexible that Unison can be. You know, as a defender, had I decided to not swing with it, I could have used it as a blocker and then use it to turn off one of your other battle cards. Had I used it for the -4 effect to steal one of your cards, that can also be threatening. Like, it just has a ton of flexibility, and like your opponent sees a Mechikabura hit, they go, okay, you're going to steal the card. You just +1, go to 5, and then your opponent feels this neurotic impulse to try to get the Mechikabura below 4, and it just absorbs swings for you.
Yeah, and I think we missed the revenge proc.
I was about to ask you that. Yeah, Baby Hat should be gone.
Yeah, we missed the revenge proc on there, but I
don't think it changes anything.
I don't think it changes a ton here.
You did pretty well clear the field out, especially with that ape coming down. So I'm still in a very comfortable position here. I still feel really good about this matchup. I've got you tapped out. And in my head, I'm thinking like, okay, he's tapped out. I can go for the throat here. Just kind of walking through my mindset of where I was, because I do very clearly remember this last sequence of events in this game. And I just remember being able to go for the throat. So I was like, okay, I'm going to tap 6. I'm going to play all my dragons. I'm going to swing. I'm going to combo for the world. We're going to win. And like, we're just kind of getting we're getting everything set. I've got the Mecha Kibora on the field. The Mecha Kibora has 4 markers on it, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just say now that, well, I'll keep those thoughts. I won't spoil.
I will say this is very risky, though. Well, that whole combo is pretty risky too, but it's very nice. A God Stealing Trunks would have ruined that day.
Yeah. So again, I want to apologize to Fluff here, because as soon as he tapped for playing all of the shadows, I said to him, like, hey, this is game. But usually we'll try to play it out on camera, just for the viewers. So partially, to me, I kind of felt like I forced him into doing that big combo, but I think after we discussed it, you said you were going to combo out pretty much anyway.
Yeah.
But still, it allowed me to Unison, restand, energy, and then beam up to be able to play Kefla, just bottom deck the threat, and then I had a blocker for the next attack, which come from...
We've passed the turn. Do you want to talk about Fluff before people probably put it in the comments already?
Yes. So Jimmy bottom decks the threat, and I was like, shit, that really sucks. And he also tapped my leader down, so I don't get to swing with the leader. I was like, but I've still got to swing with the Unison. So I swung with the Unison, and I was like, crap, I really want one more card in my hand to combo out here on the Mecha Kibora with. So I +1 on the Mecha Kibora. And I swing. And I think you pretty much comboed out of the swing that I was able to do. As soon as I passed the turn, the words out of my mouth were, I just threw the fucking game. Because all I had to do was -4, take his ape or take his Kefla, swing, combo out, and call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
There were...
We'll say we will see this turn that you're still, I think, able to combo decently throughout this whole turn too. You know, like you had that combo power there for that steal and swing right back at him.
Yes, I was able to combo through most of everything that you were able to throw at me there, which really shows the power of how sticky Syn Shenron can be as a deck. And kind of harking back to what I said in the beginning of the game, every time that I've lost with this deck is because I sequenced incorrectly or I made a mistake. And while at the time I was incredibly upset with how this game turned out, because I went from like thinking that I did win the game to losing the game, the more that time has passed, the more that I've kind of tried to just take it as a learning situation. And like I say it in the outro, like, read your cards, know your plays, let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to. If you're up against a blue deck like that, don't make that same mistake. And like, I should have seen the Mecha Kibora in that moment for what Mecha Kibora is more traditionally used for, whereas I had my own skewed view on what the Mecha Kibora was doing for me in that moment, instead of seeing like, oh, I can just take a card and win the game.
And once again, like we've all said, like it's a good thing it happened this past weekend, because this is kind of like a lot of us were playing in the mindset of like, we need to get ready for TCG Con, which we are going there tomorrow, because this video will be dropping on a Friday. And if you're there, seek us out. But now you're prepared for that. Like you have that. Oh yeah, it has the -4 capability. I remember this now, because like, it has been a very long time since you played this deck.
You know, it kind of like I've had a bad habit in the past of tapping 6, swinging with 1 card for game, and comboing everything that came out along with it. Whereas, like, had I just played that safe, swung with 1 card, swung with 1 card, swung with 1 card, I would have easily ground that game out.
We call that the Mad effect, where if he sees opportunity, he goes for the throat. Either he gets it or he don't.
Yep.
Before
Yep.
anybody makes a comment, I would have just comboed out on that basil swing. Shut the fuck up. The baby didn't change the game.
With that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Keep those buttons down below and on the screen while Fluff does the outro.
I think I've already said the outro, but read your cards, know your plays. Let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to. I lost a poutine winner card this weekend because of that shit. And Fluff out.